and welcome back. If you haven't told by the thumbnail, we are heading to Egypt today to see the Great Pyramids, and we're going to go over the Nile River and just visit some areas because there's part and bits of Egypt that you don't really know. As you can see here, the pyramids, but we're going to adventure outfield. We've got the sort of 3 grand pyramids that are all over fucking wallpapers and things like that. But yeah, there's parts of Egypt that you don't really expect. Like, we're flying over here like some low-rise sort of buildings, which you sort of expect from Egypt. So you've got like, I don't know what they are. I'm not an expert of Egypt, but these sort of look like slums, I guess. These are out of the way. They're not like slums, but they're like, this is probably like a town in Egypt or something, like on the outskirts. Like if you go to London, you've got like somewhere like, I don't know, Chelsea, that it's like a little bit low-rise. And then you've obviously got this sort of sandy area, and then coming up is obviously the pyramids, which is what everyone goes to Egypt to see. But it's just different. And this is what this series is all about. So obviously, welcome if you're new to the series, and welcome back if you're following it. And thank you very much for following and sticking along. If you are new, then we do these videos every Friday flights, hence the name. And yeah, we're just going around the world visiting places that we've been or not been, and if there's anywhere you want to see, if you haven't got this game or you haven't been fortunate to go away, then that's where we're visiting. So yeah, just flying by these they're just weird. I just get a sense of weirdness from this. Like, this looks to have been like a town in ancient Egypt, and it just brings me back to Assassin's Creed Origins. Like, playing that game and seeing these pyramids, they're thousands and thousands of years old. Like, I've not really seen pyramids in real life, and I've only ever seen them in Origins, which is another game. And they're still the same. These weird, pointy things that there's never been built like before. The size of the bricks and the size of them compared to... Look at... These are like 2-3-storey houses, and when you fly by these, you do and you don't really get the scale of how big they are compared to, like, modern buildings. Like, the architecture that's gone into these is just weird. And just look at the size of these compared to this plane. This plane's obviously taller than a human, and the brickwork and the sort of assembly of these things is it's just scary. And again, this game probably doesn't do them justice, but I bet they're huge in person. Like, the grand size of these, people just see them as pyramids. They're just a shape, but the history behind them and the sort of way these were built was ridiculous. Like, they're that scaled. Like, people seem to think these were built by aliens. Like, they're that scarily like how they got built. This seems to be an office there. There's a couple of old abandoned buildings and the Sphinx, which we're about to fly over, which we all know about. And that's what people come to Egypt for. We've got the River Nile, which we're going to go fly over, which again is probably more what I expected Egypt to be like. So obviously the pyramids are out in the middle of nowhere, and there's not many houses nearby, which is probably due to them being historical and things like that. But going towards the River Nile, there's more sort of like palm trees, and you expect that from a city. Like, looking at this from here, the city doesn't look that nice. Like, I know it's not a wealthy country, and I know it's a city and everywhere has its dull areas, but we come over here, you get the odd tree. It doesn't generate very well, this sort of city. There just seems to be a lot of water in the road there, because I thought that was a river to begin with. But closer you get to water, more greenery and more trees you get, which I sort of picture Egypt as like a lush sort of desert town. Like, I don't know. The way I picture it is, what I imagine is Game of Thrones. When the Mad Dragon Lady, whatever her name is, Khaleesi, goes to that sort of desert town. That sort of vibe is what you get, like a posh sort of area. There might be these sort of things, but as you can see, we're travelling quite far away from the pyramids until we actually see some high-rises. And again, I didn't picture any high-rises. I pictured like posh, low-level flats near the river with nice palm trees and things like that. That's what I sort of pictured Egypt to be like, but clearly there are high-rises. I am just going to take this short break just to say sorry if you can hear the rain. You may be able to hear it tinkling in the background on the window. It's actually raining where I am. But yeah, I love the way the pyramids are seen from so many miles away. Like, we've travelled quite a long way here. and we can still see the pyramids in the sunset, and we're finally getting to the actual city, which I guess is weird. Like, you'd want a high rise to be able to see them from that far away. Seeing the pyramids in the sunset like that, you'd want a building on the top floor to see that every day. Like, they're magnificent from far or close up. But as you can see, we're getting closer to the River Nile now. We can just about obviously see it with a lot of high rises, and again, you do see a lot more palm trees. But maybe it's the colour scheme of the city. Like, you go to London, it's quite white buildings, but you come here and it's very sandstony, which I guess there's a lot of sand nearby, and not being so privileged shipping materials in. But the one disappointing thing, which is with the game and not the city, look at the state of the generation of this world. Look at these hills. I just don't get it. Maybe it's because the game needs updating. I understand the game's so big. I think it's something like 100 gig. But just look at how mountainized, or how... I don't know. It's the generation of the world. It's like random mountains that just don't make sense. And look at this one to the left. Like, you can just tell that's not real. Because there's cars going over it at like a 40-degree angle, and it just doesn't make sense. So that's a little bit disappointing from this game. I thought we wouldn't see quite so bad glitches, especially in these sort of open areas. Like, these are places that people are going to go to. Like myself, this is only our 4th episode or something, and we're visiting it because it's one of them places where you want to see, and you'd think they'd concentrate, especially it being on one of the activity pages to visit. You'd think they'd sort of concentrate on them areas to generate them and make them right, I guess. I don't know. That's just a bit of a critique from me from the game. But yeah, I'm just sort of flying over because there's some sort of whirlpool looking thing there. I just wanted to explore the city. We've got some sort of monument over here. It's not actually coming up with a name, I don't think. But yeah, the city is a lot greener towards the River Nile, or Niles River. I don't really know how they say it in Egypt, what order they say it in. Got some sort of monument tower. But there is one more thing that I want to see. So I'm going to carry on flying over this city. But there is more pyramids. So you can see just to the left of the sun of the pyramids that we went to see. But straight ahead, in line with the river, there are more pyramids in the distance. And this is something I was intrigued about. You only ever see the 3 to the right, literally about to go off screen now. But right in front of us, don't know if you can see it properly, but there are 3 sort of pyramids in the far distance. So I'm obviously going to fast forward here, and I'll meet you over there. So it appears we are coming to the first sort of pyramid, and as you can see now, there are still 2 more out into the distance on the left hand side of the screen there. But this pyramid isn't smooth like the other pyramids. It's actually quite rugged. Like, I don't know if it was ever finished, and this is why we don't see these sort of pyramids, but they're sort of like stepped, like they weren't actually finished. Are these like pyramids that people started to build? They look more like temples that are out in the jungle. They're not quite pointy or anything like that. They are just stepped. But I'm going to carry on going, and we still see the Grand Pyramids. Carry on going and meet you over at these other 2 pyramids. So we got a little bit closer, and this one isn't steps. Like, what are these pyramids? I'm intrigued to go and do some research. Like, this one is smooth like the other pyramids we've seen, like the 3 grand pyramids that everyone knows. But what are they like? And this one looks quite square. Like, are these Egyptian gods that come at a later date and built these pyramids to show their strength or something? Or was it these were built first and these are older and they've like sort of disappeared or been damaged over time? I don't actually know. But this one, you can see it's a bit of a chode, this one. It's quite not so pointy, and it's quite steep. Very weird. Again, it's smooth and not steps like the other one, but you can see some damage on this one for definite. So I wonder if this one's older or a newer but less quality sort of built pyramid. I don't know. Again, that's what this series is all about. Visiting cities and visiting places that you wouldn't normally go to. But I do just want to say thank you guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will be wrapping this video up now. Again, suggest somewhere you want me to go next time. But yeah, I just want to say thank you very much for watching and tune in next Friday. Just want to say thank you for watching. Please go check out some more videos and don't forget to subscribe, support the channel and stay tuned for more.